Good day, everyone. I'm here on the RainFresh site, and I do own one of these systems here. I own the Water System 3. We'll talk a little bit about that, but really the video is about, what should you choose for a water filtration system? It's kind of like not an easy thing to answer. Basically, if you're on a city system, probably reverse osmosis is the way to go. It's going to address many of the issues that you have, especially those that are sensitive to dissolved solids, such as salts and whatnot. There might be health reasons. For the Drinking Water System 3, now that one does not address dissolved solids, but it more addresses chemical and bacteria. So, I mean, ideally you want to combine the two, and you can get some systems that somewhat do combine the two. But let's move along here. So again, the reverse osmosis systems, the only drawback with those on someone who's on a well or a surface water situation, it really depends on the water quality. If there's a lot of iron in the water, this could cause some problems. Reverse osmosis doesn't like certain types of iron in the water. There's there's bacterial iron and just basically iron that's in particulate form. So that's something you're probably going to have to ask some questions about with your if you're going to go to an actual water filtration store or something. Tell them about your situation. They'll give you the best advice if reverse osmosis will work for you. Now, under the sink here, I do have the Drinking Water System 3. It comes with, normally the first filter is a sediment filter, and then some sort of carbon filter and the ceramic filter. In my situation, and probably in many of you that have a well, for example, or on city water, you don't need the sediment filter there. You can use a different type of filter in there that will probably do better and meet your needs. So let's keep moving along. Just on a side note, these are the sediment filters. Again, if you're on city water, you probably don't need that. If you're on well water, you probably already have an inline sediment filter. So there's better options so that you can remove more contaminants out of your water rather than using this filter. And again, this is actually, these ones are only 5 microns, whereas the other filters are actually 1. And the ceramic filter is actually 0.3. That removes the ceramic filter, it removes the bacteria and cysts and stuff, almost 100% rating, 99.9 and 99.95, depending on what it is. Now let's get into these filters. As I said, the system, it comes with this, and this. This is the first filter, the second filter, and the final one. So again, I would suggest not using this in many cases. You might need to. This is a very basic carbon filter, and there's other options. Let's go into those options, and I'll tell you why I picked them. I live in a rural area, and the runoff and stuff that gets into the drinking water, it's really there's a lot of chemical-based stuff, such as 2,4-D and all kinds of things that they spray out in the field and that whatnot. So this basic one is probably not going to do much for you. And really what I'm looking at here, instead of using this, I've gone with the lead chemical and chlorine and this other chemical and chlorine reduction filter. In hindsight, I would probably have picked this one and this guy here, and the chloramine one would probably be good also in city water situations and rural, and I'll explain. Because in city situations they do use chlorine in the water, and sometimes they will put ammonia into the system also, and ammonia, when it mixes with chlorine, makes these chloramines. Now in a well system out in the country, you'd think you'd be sort of immune from that, but however, some people also treat their well water with chlorine, and the incoming water can actually contain ammonium from basically the refuse from certain farming practices and whatnot. So I think next time I'm gonna go with this guy of the chloramine and the lead chemical. But as I said, right now I'm using the lead chemical and the chemical and chlorine reduction. These two are both pretty much exactly the same, just so this one addresses lead. And why do we want to address lead? Lead does naturally occur in wells, and more likely in any homes, especially older water systems in cities and municipalities. In the old days, they contained lead. They used lead in many situations, and even as recently as when I say old houses, I mean even to the 80s, even into the 90s. A lot of people have a copper pipe, and a lot of that copper pipe was, unfortunately, they used the lead solder, which was very common and very cheap. So I would definitely for sure go with the lead chemical one, and then, you know, these two, that's up to you. Don't worry about the sediment filter if you already have one, or if you're on city water. So here's a little small chart here. Basically the system, these are just basically the CF2 and the CA1. They're just addressing, you know, basically taste and odor, a little bit of chlorine, some chemical. But let's get into the good filters here. Well, the CA1, I shouldn't say it's just addressing chlorine and taste and odor, but that's the one that addresses the chloramines. So sorry, I got a little bit messed up there, but yeah, the CA1, I would go with that filter in many circumstances, and probably the LR1, because that addresses the lead and everything that the VC1 addresses also. But right now I'm doing the VC1 and the LR1. Next time I'm going to go with the LR1 and the CA1. CA1 because of the chloramine, and the LR1 because of the lead removal. Anyways, I'm gonna just do a quick little video. As I said, you should really check out, I did a complete video on how to change the filters. It addresses issues when you're removing the filters, because sometimes it's not easy, sometimes you have leaks. This addresses it and how to do everything properly. I'll put a link in the description below, so check it out. And yeah, I'll do a little short video here. It'll be pretty much non-descriptive, and we'll get the filters changed. Hang around. Alright, so step one, again, look at my detailed video if you run into trouble. Step one, find the valve that goes to your water filtration system and turn that off. Okay, water's off. Come up to the tap. Turn the tap on. That releases the water pressure. Just leave it on the on position. Next step, you want to remove all the filter housings. They just turn counterclockwise, and they'll pull down. Put a towel down below. There we go. The last one, that's a ceramic filter that's reusable, and you can replace it. You can buy a new one, but you just need to clean that up. I'll show you how to clean it up. Okay, so grab the ceramic filter. You just have to sort of pull it down. There we go. And we'll clean this up. Okay, to clean the ceramic filter, get yourself like a scrubbing pad. It's fairly abrasive. Turn on some water. Take the filter. Just start rubbing it. It's like you're scrubbing a pan. I mean, if it looks dirty, just keep scrubbing until it looks clean. Okay, so this one's ready to go. It looks pretty good. Okay, so once the ceramic filter's all clean, just grab the housing for it. Let's just set that there. Kind of set it aside. As I said, this is the old, it was white at one time, so it has removed a lot of stuff, but again, I'm just going to use the one of the chemical chlorine filters on here. So just pull that one out, dump out the water, give it a little rinse, and we'll replace it with this one here. And this is the one that the filter that removes the lead, LR1. Just gonna rinse this guy out. Alright, here's our ceramic filter. This one, you have to line it up in the center there. And you might have to put your hand up here. And it should just push straight up into place. There we go. And let's put the housing on. Very easy to put on. Get it up into place. Rotate it. Next one. And again, it will just fit up into place. Like that. Get the housing. Okay, so everything's in place. And at this point, the tap is still open. So let's go ahead and turn on the water. You need to let this run for 10 minutes now. All that noise is just the water or the air getting forced out. You can actually see that one filling up. Okay, and while we're at it, the water comes in here. This one filled up first. There's a little button on each one of these, which you have to do. You press it down and it lets out air. So just press it down a little bit at a time until just water comes out. Do that on each one. I know it's hard to see, but you're gonna have to kind of trust me on this. So that's I'll get the other one. I won't be able to get it on video. After it runs for say 5 minutes, go back and test to make sure there's no water in the canister or no air in the canisters by pressing those buttons. Clear the air out. And after that 10 minutes, you're ready to roll. Everything's looking good. Make sure there's no leaks and all will work out.